let's talk about Osimhen, because for me, I don't expect Osimhen to join Arsenal. I think Osimhen could actually end up staying at Napoli because of how complicated this deal is. There's a reason he's still at Napoli in August. If it was such an easy deal to do, I think Arsenal would have already tried to sign him before. PSG would have already got him. Chelsea would have already got him, but it's a very complicated deal to do, and that is why Osimhen is still at Napoli. It would cost 120 million euros, and there's complications there. But Di Marzio actually did report that Arsenal could get back in the race for Osimhen. Chelsea have left the scene after talks with for Omorodian. So right now in the picture for Osimhen, there's no Saudi Arabia and there's no Chelsea anymore. Even Arsenal are not really there, but the Matthew says Arsenal could get back in the race for Osimhen in case it doesn't go through with PSG. Now, I still think this is going to be very complicated unless they drop the money. Unless Napoli today say, okay, listen, 80 million euros, let's get the deal done around 67 million pounds. Maybe Arsenal can go back in for him, yes. But the money, I think it's a complicated issue. And actually, if I was to predict right now, I'd say there's a very good 60% chance he could actually end up staying, maybe 50% chance he could end up staying at Napoli, unless another team comes in for him, a team gets desperate and then they come in for him and try to sign him, then maybe. But as of now, it's a complicated deal to do. This is one that can carry on throughout the August. I don't think this deal is going to be finalized right now. But Di Marzio is very good in terms of Italian news. He has said we could get back for him. I don't know. Maybe are we waiting for that as well? I think there's been a lot of waiting and a lot of let's see how this one goes so that we do this one in this transfer window. I think Arsenal are waiting for that as well. Maybe they're waiting for how much are we going to get from Nketiah? How much are we going to get for Nelson to add to the Smith Rowe one? Should we get Gyökeres or should we wait for Napoli first to drop their price? So those two players that will be linked to the strikers, the prices have not yet dropped. So we are still waiting for the prices to drop if you're going to go for those players. If the prices don't drop, I think Gyökeres is going to end up staying at Sporting, and there's a 50% chance Osimhen can end up staying at Napoli. If not, maybe they agree a deal somewhere with PSG, and then he ends up going there. I don't see any other team coming in for him because of that money. Now, yes, I've always also said the attitude thing. Will Atta really want him at Arsenal? There's that as well. But maybe there's a way you could still get him even with that. But that is only if the money drops. So that deal is still alive. It's still not yet dead. But again, Arsenal coming in for him, it's very unlikely. But we could still try maybe throughout August. Let's see how it goes. Now, that deal could depend on whether we are going to sell one of our other strikers, Edin Nketiah. What's the latest on him? According to Fabrizio, Arsenal and Olympique Marseille's deal for Edin Nketiah is getting complicated. Marseille won't pay Arsenal's demands. Marseille could still sign another attacker after Moukoko. So, okay, let's get through this as well. Understand Arsenal want at least 35 million euros plus sell-on clause for Edin Nketiah. That's why Arsenal decided to reject 27 million proposal from Olympique Marseille, as revealed on Friday. So that's 27 million euros, so around 22 million pounds or something. No agreement between clubs so far, and Marseille could now start to look also at other options. Now, I'm not worried about Nketiah ending up staying at Arsenal this summer. I think he's definitely going to leave. Whether he's going to leave tomorrow or on deadline day, I think he's definitely going to leave. For me, I've already said, I don't agree with the fans who say, whatever, let's just take the 50 million and move on. No, that's not how transfers work. Aston Villa are trying to get Duran. Aston Villa are trying to get 50 million for Duran, a player who's basically never done anything in the Premier League. Nketiah has done something in the Premier League. So it doesn't matter how much of a bad player we think he is, 15 million is not enough. They have to get that. They have to get decent money for him. And for me, that is 30 million pounds. Maybe Arsenal are trying to look for, as Fabrizio says, Arsenal are looking for 35 million euros. That's around 30 million pounds around there as well. I think a team will come in and pay for that for him. It's not like we're asking for 60 or 70. He might not be Marseille, but I'm expecting other teams to come in for him. Already this transfer window, you've had 2 or 3 teams who've not 3 teams actually, maybe 5. Marseille have been mentioned, Crystal Palace have been mentioned, Leicester have been mentioned, even Wolves have been mentioned, Fulham have been mentioned before. All those teams already been linked to Edin Nketiah this summer transfer window. Now, people are worried about Edin Nketiah staying and us not signing a strike. I don't think that is going to affect. I think he's definitely going to leave. And he's not going to play. It's not like if he's going to stay in the first game, he's going to feature. I don't think so. I still think even if he's still here in the first or second game, he's not really going to feature. So I don't think that should be a concern. He is definitely going to leave. During the end of the transfer window, teams usually get desperate. And I'll not be surprised if I hear 5-6 teams coming for him. Which teams? We could hear Southampton want him. We could hear out of nowhere Bournemouth of Sol Solanke. They now want Eddie Nketiah. We could hear Monaco now want Eddie Nketiah. We could hear which other teams in Spain, for example, Getafe have sold Greenwood. They're now trying to get Eddie Nketiah. I'm sure we're going to hear all those teams coming in for him. Not those particular teams, specific teams, but those teams of that around that level, that category. I'm sure you're going to hear most of them coming in for him. Teams get desperate at the end of the transfer window and they'll be like, oh, Arsenal is not dropping the price. He's a striker who's available. He's scored a few goals for Arsenal. Let's go and try and get him. I think that is what is going to happen. I don't think you're going to get stuck with him. And I don't think he's going to play even if he's here in the first or second game. I don't think that is not my worry at all. Let's get that 30 million, use it elsewhere. We might just accept 14 million and then we're not able to use that money elsewhere because it's not enough. No, get that 30 million for Eddie, get that 27 million that you've gotten so far for Smith Rowe so far. It's 7 million is add-ons. Get the money for Nelson, and then you can use it to buy someone else. I guess that is what is delaying some other potential signings. And if people are saying just sell him for 14 million, that might not help us in terms of getting other players. So you just don't throw your assets because you don't like the player. That is not how it works, man. Because I've seen other teams with players who've played 2 Premier League games and they want 50 million for their players. Aston Villa, Chelsea, Everton, they've recently done some deals where players are coming from the academy and they're selling them for 40, 45 million. Now, we cannot sell Eddie Nketiah for 15, 16 million. They've offered 23 million, but I still think that is too low. There has to be some bonuses there as well. So for me, wait for 30 million. We are going to get that 30 million, I'm pretty sure. Teams will come in and start fighting for him at the end of the transfer window. That level of teams, I'm sure they're going to try and get him. So let's see how that one goes. So that's a little on Eddie Nketiah. One player who's definitely left Arsenal is Karl-Hein. He featured in all the preseason games for us. Surprisingly, I thought he was going to play I thought you were going to see Setford or Nigard, the 2 goalkeepers that we signed, maybe against Bournemouth in the first game, and then see Karl-Hein in the second and third game, maybe, the whole game against United, and then maybe first half against Liverpool, second half different goalkeeper. But no, he actually featured in all 3 games, and that has gotten him a move. That is a weird one because we played him in all 3 games and he was not going to stay really. I would have preferred to see at least a Setford for 45 minutes to see how he does because he's going to be at Arsenal next season. But maybe Arsenal just wanted to put him out there for teams to see how he does in pre-season, and he was very good in the penalty shootout against Bournemouth. He made a couple of very good saves through the transfer window, and teams have come in for him, but it is a loan deal as expected. He's just recently signed a new contract. Karl-Hein set to leave Arsenal on loan to join Spanish side Real Valladolid until the end of the season. His salary will be covered by Valladolid. So Valladolid, I think that they've just been promoted to La Liga, and they've gotten him. Charlton were about to sign him earlier today. Charlton also wanted him, and a few other teams, but he's picked to go to Spain. I think that is a good test, especially if he ends up being the first choice goalkeeper there. That's a good test. That's a league that we can see how he does over there. That is a team that has just been promoted, so you'd expect them to face a lot of shots, like when they come up against a Real Madrid or Barcelona or Villarreal, a lot of tests. Like you'd have like 7-8 shots to try and save, and then we'll get to see a lot of him throughout the preseason throughout the season. If he goes there and he does well, and Valladolid are like, hey, this guy kept us up. We are ready to pay 18 million for him or something. That is good business because we never really get that kind of money for our goalkeepers. Like even players like Leno and Martinez went for very, very, very cheap. But if Karl-Hein can go there and perform well, I think we can get the money for him. Now, Karl-Hein off to Valladolid, so that is one deal that is definitely done. Now, that definitely means you're going to sign another goalkeeper. That is why at the beginning I said we are going to sign another goalkeeper. I think you're going to sign 3 players this August. Ramsdale is still here, so this is a weird one. Are we planning to have Raya first choice goalkeeper and then Ramsdale again second choice, and then have Setford or someone as a third choice? I don't think we're planning for that. I think Ramsdale definitely wants to leave. This is another one like the Nketiah one. I think teams will definitely come in for Ramsdale, but not now. The last 2 weeks when teams are getting desperate after the Premier League has already started, we could hear Southampton, they want Ramsdale, they're ready to pay 25 million for him. We could hear Leicester want him as well. We could hear a team, goalkeeper's gotten injured. They're now desperate to get Ramsdale. That could happen. I don't think it's any harm if Ramsdale stays for us. I don't think it's any harm, but I think for him and his career and, just the vibes around the team, if Raya makes a mistake and people are like, oh, Ramsdale should be playing, all those bad vibes in the team of, this one should play, this one should not play, and this one makes a mistake, and all that drama that we had last season, I don't think it's worth it. But I still think Ramsdale is going to leave. Caroline has left on loan. Okonkwo has left as well on a free transfer. We've already brought in Setford and Negad and Dry on a permanent deal. I still think you're going to get another goalkeeper there to be our second choice if Ramsdale leaves. I still think it's going to be very busy in terms of the transfers for goalkeepers. Now, the rest of this month, we only have like 3 weeks plus a few days to go in terms of the transfer window. I think you're still going to see like at least 10 deals being done in terms of incomings and outgoings, because Ramsdale, Nketiah, Nelson, Merino, maybe another goalkeeper, maybe a couple of youngsters. There's a guy called Oyedeji being linked to the move away, one of the academy players as well. So all that, I think you're going to see a lot of business still happening. But let me know what you make of all that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.